You ever have one of those nights where reality just shatters right in front of you, and the only thing you can do is laugh, because if you didn't, you'd probably lose your mind? Yeah, that was the night the squad car rolled into our cul-de-sac, blue and red lights flickering against the kitchen cabinets, just as I'm rinsing coffee cups and debating whether I should bother covering the Lamborghini again, because the wind out here loves nothing more than to slap dust all over the paint. I'm barefoot. The weather's mumbling about a cold front, and honestly, the last thing I expect is to see our quiet little HOA suburb lit up like a discount nightclub. Usually, the wildest thing that happens on our block is a lawnmower running 5 minutes over the limit. So when I step onto the porch and spot two officers at the bottom of my driveway, with their cruiser angle behind them, my heart does this weird jump. And then, of course, there's Karen. If you know, you know. HOA president, navy polo with the embroidered logo, arms crossed, chin jutted out like she's holding up the sky, and she's pointing straight at my car like it's evidence in a crime scene. For a split second, I honestly think she's called the cops because someone dinged her rusty old van, the one that's parked half on the curb, half in the street, with the faded church bumper sticker and a sliding door that's more dent than metal. But no, I follow her finger and it hits me. She's pointing at my car. The orange Lamborghini. The one I keep gleaming, parked in the driveway, since my garage is basically a shrine to Home Depot and power tools. It's that November chill where your breath comes out in little clouds, and I'm standing there thinking, you have got to be kidding me. The scene is just so ridiculous. My car under the porch light, looking like it's up for auction, and Karen talking to the police as if she's reporting an armed robbery. I walk down the driveway, slow, hands up like, don't shoot, I just like fast cars, and say, evening, officer, something wrong? The taller cop, Sanchez, according to his badge, gives me this professional nod like, thank God this guy isn't about to lose it. The younger one? He's got Karen locked in his sights, probably because she's talking a mile a minute and gesturing like she's landing planes. Karen turns to me, grinning that HOA grin. If you've ever seen it, you know. There he is, she says like she's turning me over to the feds. That's the owner. Sanchez says, sir, we got a call about a dispute over a vehicle on the property. We need to verify ownership and make sure no one's removing anything without permission. I look from my car to Karen's van, and somewhere between my stomach and my funny bone, it hits me. She's not reporting a theft. She's trying to swap my car for her van. Before I can wrap my head around it, Karen dives in. I initiated a corrective exchange under HOA authority. This residence is displaying an unsuitable vehicle that attracts theft. I offer my vehicle as a replacement. He's not complied, and I do not want the tow to be misinterpreted as theft. She says it's so matter-of-fact, I half expect her to pull out a landscaping brochure. I stare at Sanchez. You offered your van for my car? It's a fair, community-minded arrangement, she chirps. The HOA can require changes to protect neighborhood image. The younger cop nearly cracks a smile. Sanchez stays professional. Sir, do you have paperwork for the vehicle? Yeah, inside, I say. Registration, title, whatever you need. Before I go, I turn back, just so we're clear, nobody's towing anything tonight. That's why we're here, Sanchez nods. To keep it from getting there. Karen, meanwhile, is clutching violation papers like they're magic spells. She starts rattling off about non-compliance, high-value targets, suspicious trucks on the block, and sacrifices for modest living. Her usual greatest hits. I hand Sanchez my folder. He matches Vince, checks my license, hands it all back. All right, he says. This car is yours, insured, current, parked legally. Ma'am, you can't reassign someone else's property, and an HOA can't force a swap. Karen's jaw locks up. So, you're not enforcing the rule? There's no rule to enforce, he tells her. This is a civil disagreement about aesthetics, not a police matter. She's never satisfied when the limit of her power is spelled out. So she pivots. Then I need to report him for suspicious activity. People don't buy cars like that on remote salaries, and it's my job to keep drugs out of the neighborhood. Dead silence. Sanchez puts his pen down. Do you have evidence of criminal activity, ma'am? She hesitates, then says, I monitor tax records. He's not listed as a doctor or executive. He shouldn't have that car. I'm biting my tongue, so hard my ears get hot. Officer, I work in cybersecurity. I make good money, nothing illegal. Sanchez waves me off. We don't need your bank statements. Ownership is enough. And, ma'am, making accusations without evidence can get you in trouble. Please don't tie up police resources with HOA issues. She should have quit there. But no, Karen storms to her van, pulls out her phone, and, loud enough for every porch light to flick on, declares, I'll call a private tow and handle it through the board. If he wants to keep it, he can appeal. Sanchez, barely holding back a laugh, says, Ma'am, if a private tow shows up and tries to remove a vehicle we've just confirmed as his, that's attempted theft. Understand, for a split second, you can see her world crack. She realizes she's not the government and we're not her tenants. By the next morning, rumors are everywhere. One neighbor texts to ask if I'm selling the Lamborghini. Another posts about a police incident and vehicle theft. I ignore it, but as I walk out for the paper, Karen's across the street, phone in hand, that clipped tone she saves for bored cronies. She gives me this wave that feels like a summons. I ignore it, but the static's there, buzzing under my skin. By noon, the HOA Compliance Committee emails me a form letter, community image violation, advising an approved exchange with a board-sanctioned alternative. It's so lawyer-light, I almost laugh. I call the number. It's Karen's voicemail. I go straight to her converted garage/office. Knock. She opens the door an inch, scanning the street. You can't come here unannounced, she says. This is administrative space. Karen, we both know there's no rule against my car. You just don't like it. It's not about liking. It's about what's appropriate. You're showing off, and that's how neighborhoods get targeted. Or you just want things boring? I shoot back. She snaps. You think money gives you immunity? You're not better than us. She slams the door. That night, a sheet of paper appears on my windshield. Remove vehicle or face, towing, and legal consequences. Steve, the neighbor with the golden retrievers, jogs by, sees me frowning. You get one too? He points to a similar letter about his fence lighting. Karen's at it again. He tells me she's been pushing for aesthetic consistency ever since the new family painted their shutters navy instead of beige. Basketball hoops, porch lights, you name it. She's fined everyone for something. She's losing it, man, Steve says. You just have the flashiest target. Next day, a tow truck actually shows up. I'm on a call, glance out the window, and there's a white flatbed reversing toward my driveway. I bolt outside, stop. Don't touch it. The driver's confused. Shows me a clipboard with a work order from Maple Ridge HOA. Signed. Guess who? Karen Whitaker. I tell him the police already confirmed ownership. He sighs. Some lady said she was property manager. Paid a deposit. No ID. I call Sanchez. He remembers me. Says he'll send a unit. The driver hears enough. Backs out. Sanchez shows up again. I hand him the forged work order, windshield notice, emails. This is crossing into criminal misrepresentation, he says. You want to file a report? Absolutely. He warns me not to confront her. People like this, they build stories where they're the hero. You just document. That night, Sanchez talks to her. I watch from my window. She's all sharp gestures and pleading him calm, ending with her staring at the porch for a long minute after he leaves, recalculating. For a few days, nothing happens. Then the emergency HOA meeting notice hits. Agenda: resolution of vehicle exchange dispute. The hall is a repurposed shed. Karen calls the meeting to order, gives some speech about unsuitable vehicles, safety and equity concerns, and proposes a voluntary exchange. Murmurs everywhere. I stand up. How about the part where police said you had no authority? Or where you forged a tow order? She snaps. False accusation. It'll be a court one if this keeps up. I filed a report. Laughter in the back. What next? Ban mail trucks. One board member, Tim, finally says, Karen, maybe we table this. She scowls, but that's it. Meeting ends. No vote. On the way out, neighbors pat my shoulder. Steve grins. She's losing the neighborhood. But she's not done. 3 days later, a suit named Dalton Knox, Maple Ridge HOA Legal Committee. He hands me a gold-sealed envelope. notice of property review, and proposed corrective action. Inside is 5 pages of legalese, something about visual harmony, undue socioeconomic disparity, proposed corrective measure, voluntary trade or sale. Karen's handwriting at the bottom, van currently available. I call the number. He's not a lawyer, just drafts forms. I send everything to Sanchez. He replies, keep copies. Don't engage. The police are seeing a pattern. Karen starts knocking on doors, spreading rumors. I'm a fraud. I'm behind on taxes. People get distant. Waves become nods. Chats become polite silence. A week later, a pink notice on my door. Final warning, vehicle non-compliance, $500 assessment, threat of a lien. I reach Tim from aboard. We didn't authorize that, he says. She's on thin ice. I suggest calling the police before it becomes their liability. He hesitates. You might be right. 2 nights later, I'm wrenching on the Mustang when I hear a scrape and a metallic clang. Flashlight in hand, I find Karen crouched by my Lambo's tire, holding a handheld tire deflator. What are you doing? She jumps. Inspecting, reports of license plate tampering. You're flattening my tire. That's an accusation. I pull out my phone and start filming. She freaks, storms off, muttering about documentation. I send the video to Sanchez. He swings by. Karen tries to play off. She admits she touched the tire. Want to press charges? I say no for now. Just document it. That week, a white sedan starts parking down the street every night, idling, lights off. When I approach, it drives off. Next day, Karen posts on the HOA chat about a suspicious surveillance vehicle. The irony, honestly, nearly kills me. Tim calls, private board session, vote on her suspension. Karen senses the ambush, delivers flyers door to door, accusing me of colluding with police. One board member posts online, she's acting alone. Karen files a harassment claim against me to the HOA, which she is. The signature line is her name twice. That's the last straw. I forward everything to Sanchez and Tim. Within 24 hours, city code enforcement comes to my door. Potential misuse of HOA funds and authority, they say. Later that day, 2 unmarked cars outside Karen's house. Plainclothes officers go in, come out an hour later, walking her out, not handcuffed, but clearly under escort. Tim emails everyone. Effective immediately, Karen is suspended pending investigation. Relief hits me harder than any victory. But Karen won't let go. She posts rants on the neighborhood app, accuses certain residents, me, of seducing police into harassment. A few sympathizers pop up, mumbling about class warfare. She reframes herself as a victim, tries to buy time. One afternoon, I return from a drive to find justice for Karen, expose the fraud taped to my garage. I send a photo to Sanchez. He's not surprised. You're not the only one. She's been filing complaints about us, too. The tension is exhausting. She's still lurking, parking her van a few houses down. It's like living with a ghost. Then she crashes the next board meeting, suspended or not, and when she's denied entry, she calls the police again. Reports destruction of evidence. Accuses the new board of fraud. Refuses to show her own suspension notice. The police check the file, and right there in front of everyone, arrest her, obstruction, falsifying documents, harassment. Karen goes down swinging, binder clutch tight. The mood on the block lifts like a storm passing. Afterward, it turns out she'd been forging checks from the HOA's maintenance fund, writing them to fake consultants, cashing them into prepaid cards. The car drama was just smoke. Her crusade was a distraction. In court, she represents herself, rants about corruption and luxury influence. The judge is patient. She's found guilty, probation, restitution, counseling, banned from the HOA forever. A few months later, I see her van rolling by, rustier than ever, Karen at the wheel. She gives me a little nod, not apology, not friendliness, just acknowledgement. That's the last time. Her house sells. The new neighbors tear down the HOA office sign, paint their shutters blue, and throw a barbecue for everyone. For the first time in years, people laugh on the street, wave again. The Lumbos become the local mascot. You keeping it? Steve asks one night. After all that, right where it belongs, I tell him. Sometimes I still get asked about it. The woman who tried to trade her van for a Lamborghini. It's an urban legend now, half true, all absurd. But here's what nobody tells you. Suburban peace is fragile. It takes almost nothing, a rumor, a car, a lonely ego, to shatter it. But it also doesn't take much to mend. Honest talks, a few laughs, the decision to just live and let live. Months later, I get a voicemail from Karen, soft, almost grateful. She's in counseling, volunteering, says she wishes she'd just been a neighbor instead of a warden. It hits me. She didn't hate me. She just hated feeling invisible. That car made her feel small in her own world. If she just said that out loud, maybe none of this would have happened. But chaos has a way of teaching lessons. Eventually, the van disappears, the rumors fade, and the only thing left is perspective. My story ends up in a housing documentary, a warning for other neighborhoods, and a strange sort of redemption, turning my own nightmare into something that helps other folks avoid the same mess. Sometimes I think about Karen, wherever she is, and hope she found something like peace. And me? I learned that the best revenge against chaos is rebuilding quietly and living without fear. When folks ask if I regret not pressing harder, I tell them the truth. You could be right, or you can be at peace. And sometimes, just sometimes, you get both. So let me ask you, what's more important? Enforcing the rules, or learning to live with the people around you? Where's the line between order and obsession? Drop your take in the comments. I want to hear your wildest HOA stories. What would you have done if Karen had come for your driveway? And don't forget, sometimes the strangest conflicts are just people trying and failing to belong.